Hi everybody, welcome to or back to the channel. Now we just featured an Anna Johnston book, The Borrowed Life of Frederick, Fife, which I will link below in case you guys are interested in it. I was super excited to read her latest release, which is When Lemons Gives You Life. And I think I loved it even more than The Borrowed Life of Frederick, Fife, which I absolutely loved. All of the books that I feature here on the channel, as you guys know, are books that I genuinely enjoy. We really have a run of them going, I think right now, of books that I just absolutely loved. I devoured this book in a single day, could not put it down, stayed up way too late needing to finish it, but it was so rich. I absolutely loved it and want to go make a lemon tart now. So, When Lemons Gives You Life, the plot of this book is you are following two main characters, Griff and Lisa. So Griff is in a nursing home. If you read The Borrowed Life of Frederick, Fife, there is a theme here from the author from her work in nursing home situations. Now, this nursing home is deplorable conditions at best. You find out that there's a lot kind of going on behind the scenes, that maybe the residents are not really being taken care of as they should be. The food is really bad. You know, you learn that there's another character in the mix, Allison, who's one of the caregivers, that she's kind of trying to not do everything according to board, let's just put it that way. So this is the nursing home that Griff finds himself in. And we learn very quickly that he is faking having dementia. So this is also a theme that we have found in Anna Johnston books. The reason that you learn of why he's faking dementia just absolutely is heartbreaking and beautiful all at the same time. In the cover for this story, I have the tissues, which ironically the colors are very similar here. That wasn't intentional, but I had to have the tissues ready. I usually do not cry in a book. I'm much more likely to cry in a movie when they have the big theatrical scene and the music is playing in the background and the whole 9 yards. But I cried in this book multiple times because at the end of the day, this is such a beautiful love story on multiple levels. The reason he is in the nursing home faking dementia just absolutely wrecks you. It wrecked me. But you are following Griff's story, and it's going back and forth from time periods, and that you are, you're learning about what's happening with Griff now in the nursing home, but you're also flashing back to his childhood. You're flashing back to his early adulthood. You learn that he was a very famous chef and unfortunately had a food poisoning incident, and that kind of started to go down the path of him ending his career. But you also learn that that was not the main reason why his career ended. Also, the reason his career ended is just absolutely heartbreaking. But deep in his soul, he is still a chef. He started cooking as a child because it was his kind of therapy. You learn that he had a very rough upbringing, and he used food not just as a way to take care of himself and to take care of his mom, but his sister Lisa, who is the other main character that we follow in the story. He used it as a way to comfort her. So there's a very poignant scene where, he has his stepfather is abusing his mom. So he takes his sister Lisa and they go hide under the bed, and he starts reading recipes to her. Like, he doesn't feel like stories are comforting, but the recipes are comforting to him. So he's just starting to read off the ingredients and the measurements and whatnot. And that's a comfort to her, and it's a comfort to him that he ends up translating into this passion that he has for food. Even to the point of that as he's growing up and he's trying to become physically stronger so that he can help defend both him and his mom against the abuse from his stepdad, he's lifting flour bags, right? There's just this constant tie to food. So now, flash forward, he's in the nursing home. The food is horrible, and not just that the food is horrible, but he's missing out on this thing that he used to love so deeply. So one night he sneaks in the kitchen, he makes a lemon tart, which is where When Lemons Give You Life comes from, right? And this starts to kind of build into this secret cooking society where he's making relationships with some of the other caretakers and some of the other residents that are in the nursing home, using a food as a way to build a relationship with them. It also turns into him being an impostor chef, in air quotes, and end up being a weekend chef, and he builds on this role. So he's kind of carving out this new life for himself, but you're learning the secrets and the reasons why he is in there, why he is faking dementia to begin with, why all of a sudden now he has this alter ego. I feel for Griff so much. This is a character who is just in such deep pain and mourning. He's mourning the loss of his parents. His father died when he was young, and he blames himself for his father's death, which again, you learn through the flashbacks why that is that he blames himself for his father's death. His mother eventually passes, and he has horrible guilt that he is carrying about his mother's death as well, and holding secrets there, on top of the fact that he's holding secrets from his sister about what his stepfather really was like, because that was the request of his mother, is he didn't want her to just have these horrible memories of who her father was, have the good memories, and hide really what the truth was. And again, my heart breaks for him, because he is carrying the burden that I think a lot of older siblings, or the oldest sibling, has to carry for the younger siblings. If you had any kind of difficult childhood, you kind of had to step up and be another parent in the mix. And a lot of times the younger siblings do not have a memory of what it was like. As the older sibling, you are the one that is carrying the burden of what the memory was like, of trying to protect them. And a lot of times it does cause a rift in the sibling relationship, because they don't understand what you went through. And there was a little bit of resentment, I think, on an older sibling side of like, number one, that you don't know what it is that I went through. You have no idea what you were protected from, and you don't understand the burden that I'm carrying, even though they don't know it. But there is a little bit of resentment factor that happens, and that definitely is the case between Griff and his sister Lisa. Now, you also learn more about Lisa, that Lisa, I also love her character so much. You hear a little bit of her internal monologue, but bless her heart, she is feeling like the distance that she's always had with her brother Griff is because she was not good enough for some reason, that he resented her because she was the younger sibling that came on the scene when he was 13 and didn't want a younger sibling and all this, that, and the other thing, when it has absolutely nothing to do with that, but her not understanding why there is this chasm in their relationship and how much it has affected her now as an adult. And now she is visiting him in the nursing home as he is continuing to keep up this farce that he has dementia. She's telling him things, and he's just sitting there like he has no idea what she's saying. Meanwhile, he knows everything that she's saying, which just adds a whole other layer, to the mix. So you continue to follow this journey of Griff. You learn that he is also suffering the grief of losing his husband, Beau. There is such a beautiful love letter that Beau has left for him that, again, just pull out the tissues, because to have that kind of love for someone, it's the love that we all look for in our lives. And at the same time, knowing that unless, by God's mercy, you both go together, someone is going to be left behind and just be left without that person who was just their person, and just leaves this huge void in their life. So it's beautiful and heartbreaking at the same time. Now, Beau, ironically enough, was best friends with Lisa, with Griff's sister. So there's some interesting dynamics that happen in that relationship. You would think that would bring them closer, but there was an incident there too that kind of breaks them apart. And Lisa is also grieving not having her best friend Beau after he passes. So then you follow Lisa's journey. And like I said, Lisa is I love her character too. Her internal monologue. She has her alter ego, Ursula, who is kind of the devil on her shoulder, is telling her all the insecurities that she has in her head. She looks in the mirror, and Ursula's got something to say. And it's like, again, my heart just goes out to her. She, very openly talks about, her ADHD brain, and how sometimes, thoughts and whatnot are a struggle, and her just feeling like she's good enough. It's something that she has struggled with since she was a child. Now we are following her path of, visiting her brother, who she thinks has dementia, who she's kind of mourning his loss as well, on top of her best friend. She happens to meet Frank, who is playing music for the residents of the nursing home that Griff is in. I also love Frank so much. He is such an endearing character. You just want to hug him. My image of him in my mind, just based off of the description of the writing, is he's kind of like Ichabod Crane. I'll insert a picture here if you're not familiar with that character. But you just love him. You just can't not love him. He's hilarious. They start a relationship. I love how Anna portrays their relationship of just a very real awkwardness, right? Dating is awkward. You're worried about what this person is going to think, and you're trying to do everything right. And, there's a hilarious scene where Lisa's trying to get ready for their date, and she ends up with Glade air freshener on her, and then she goes to his house and he's like, what is that perfume? It's a comedy of errors. It's hilarious, but you love them, and you love them together. And she says something like, he's not this poster child of who it is that you think, that you're going to end up with. But his character is just everything that every woman wants. Like, we love Frank, right? Now, she's finally found her person. She's finally found some glimmer of happiness in this, time where she's mourning her best friend, and she's in a lot of ways mourning her brother. Her mom has passed years ago. She's carrying her burdens of her own, and then has this diagnosis of the same kidney disease that killed her mother. And so now all of a sudden it's like, I finally have found my person and my happiness, and now I'm going to die of this kidney disease. So now we're following her through that journey of, Frank is the first one, like, test me, I might be a match, like, I'm going to give up everything, for this person that is pretty new in the relationship, and she's giving him an out and says, like, hey, I don't expect you a couple months into this to now, take me through what could potentially be a terminal illness. And he's like, no, if you're not here for the sickness, you shouldn't be here for the health. Again, like, just a gem of a human. Where is Frank in the world? We need to find the Franks of the world. And through the journey of her trying to find a kidney donor for herself, the secrets are all unraveled. Everything that Griff has been carrying, what the truth is, what the history really is of their family, why he has been the way he has been throughout the course of their life. And again, just tears again, burn out the tissues again. It's just, when everything comes to life, it's so painful and so moving and so loving all at the same time. This is just one that I will read again and again. This one is my library copy right now that I got from the library, but I will be purchasing this one for sure because I really want to reread it again and just savor the moments. And it is just beautiful on so many levels. It makes you think about family dynamics. Like I said, I just relate so much to Griff of being an older sibling and some of those weights that you have to carry. I relate so much to Lisa and her insecurities and her Ursula that's going on in her head. I think we all have that just inner voice that is causing doubts in what we're doing. And like I said, Frank, I love him so much. We all need to find a Frank. So this one right now for me is one of my top for 2026. No doubt. Like I said, I love the Borrowed Life of Frederick Fife. And anytime that I love my first book like that I've read of an author's, I'm always a little bit nervous for the second because you worry like, hey, the sequel, if you will, it's not related to the Borrowed Life of Frederick Fife, but the next work from that author, it can't possibly live up to it. And it 100% did. It did not disappoint. Like I said, this one for me is a top in 2026 so far, for sure. So highly, 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 highly recommend When Lemons Gives You Life. I think there is so much to unpack there of just dynamics and family relationships as a whole. And I really hope you give it a try. I think Anna Johnston is just kicking it out of just knocking it out of the park. And especially I think from this in a unique perspective of having worked in senior living facilities and nursing homes and trying to give a real honest perspective of what those environments look like, is a beautiful way that she's using, the work that she has been doing to talk about some of those situations that you don't want to talk about, and unpacking these layers of family dynamics. So please go give it a try. I really think that you guys are going to enjoy it. And if you do, maybe make a lemon tart to go on the side while you're reading.